I think that I was born to catch the football.
Going deep for Chris. Oh, what a great Carter. Makes a one.
I don't know that I've ever seen a greater catch than that.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
That is amazing. Watch the left foot right there, and then he gets the right foot, and both feet just slide right in.
There are people out there that argue Cris Carter called it better than anyone in NFL history.
Those hands amassed over 1,100 receptions, almost 14,000 yards, and 130 touchdowns. But to understand how Cris Carter got there, we have to go back to his junior year of high school.
And I really came from a basketball family. I had three brothers. My oldest brother, Butch, played in the NBA 7 years. I had the toughest decision at that point, at 16, am I going to play basketball or play football? We changed coaches. And we got Bill Conley, and he opened my eyes, and I was able to see what he was saying.
I was one of the best basketball players in the state of Ohio. I had a brother in the NBA, and I was only playing football to stay in shape. He told me, you have a better chance to be Lynn Swann than you do Isaiah Thomas.
When I signed with Ohio State, I was supposed to play both, but then I got MVP in the Rose Bowl.
By his junior year, Carter was one of the best receivers in the country. But he was also broke.
When you're a college student and you can't even go have a slice of pizza with your mom, something's wrong with college sports. I couldn't call home and ask for money.
When he was at Ohio State, he signed illegally with Lloyd Bloom and Norby Walters.
Prosecutors today announced indictments against 3 talent agents, accusing 2 of them, Norby Walters and Lloyd Bloom, of conspiring with Michael Francisi to use mob muscle to get contracts to represent top stars of stage and sport.
For signing with an agent, Carter lost his eligibility for his senior year. He was forced to enter the 1987 supplemental draft, where the Eagles selected him in the 4th round.
I had missed all the training camp. The worst scenario for a rookie coming into the league. I remember telling Randall Cunningham, bro, listen, I can't run a lot of these pro routes, but a post corner, I can run.
3rd down, Cunningham lobs it and has Carter for a touchdown. So Cris Carter's first professional catch is a touchdown.
Cunningham fade route in the end zone. Oh, touchdown! Cris Carter gets absolutely his favorite route to run.
And the Eagles use this play so effectively, a little fade into the corner of the end zone when they get down close. Cris Carter has made a great season out of it. They love to go to Carter when they get down near the end zone because he'll just go up and take it away from you.
His fade route was so effective, in 1989, 9 of his 11 touchdowns were scored in the red zone. But despite showing flashes, off the field, Carter was losing control.
That money, having all that extra money, contributed certainly to him starting to try harder drugs.
He failed 2 drug tests in Philadelphia, and Buddy Ryan cut him.
And that showed me that you had a real problem. If you couldn't do away with it for 2 days till you got tested.
But to his everlasting credit, Ryan never divulged the reason, saying instead the now famous line, all he does is catch touchdowns.
For a mere $100, the Vikings signed Carter off waivers.
The Minnesota Vikings, we had one of the best employee assistance programs.
My wife was a recovering alcoholic, and we started an organization called the Johnson Institute, where we taught people how to do interventions.
Their player's assistance person at that time was Betty Trilogy.
And she asked me on September 19th, she said, Chris, can you just not have a drink for 1 week? And since September 19th, 1990, because of Betty Trilogy and Wheelock Whitney, I've been able to keep that program together. I could really tell a significant difference, especially when I had stopped, drinking.
Now clean, Carter could commit fully to football. His first test came that same year, against his former team.
I wasn't starting at the time, but Anthony Carter had strained his hamstring in warm-up, which in turn gave me the start 5 weeks after Buddy Ryan had cut.
The problem with the Cris Carter, he'll be working against defensive backs. Dan, he worked against them all last year. They know him like a book. Going deep. Touchdown. Oh, and Cris Carter. How good must he feel? Number 22 on 2nd and 7. Going deep for Cris Carter. And the former Eagle is out in front. And Cris Carter is having every dream come true. I think the Philadelphia Eagles and their defensive team will tell you that
They thought there was a chance that they might get burned by Carter tonight, but I think they would have been betting that it would have been Anthony Carter, not Cris Carter.
It still took a little while for me to take off, but to me, that was the beginning. That put so much faith in me that, yeah, this is what I thought that I could do. Now, if I can just become consistent, this is the kind of career that I think that I can have.
By 1993, the Cris Carter arrived, with his first of 8 straight Pro Bowls and 1,000-yard seasons. Not only was he in recovery, he also had a new off-season workout routine.
Roger Craig came in here for years as a running back, and he says, Roger Craig was telling me stories about Jerry Rice. He goes, I realized then, I got to start training more and getting better shape, made him a better player.
Most anybody that watches professional football, they only see what they do on Sunday. I was able to see him Monday through Saturday, and that was really what made him great, is how hard he worked in practice every day.
When you out drinking on Monday, I'm home sleeping. When you sleep in the meetings on Wednesday, I'm watching film. When you hanging out with your boys on Friday, I'm home with my wife and kids sleep. And come Sunday, I will have you.
When you feel weak, you feel like you want to just give up.
Oh, sensational catch.
Just pull that out of you and get that motivation to now.
That looks like something a baseball player would do. He didn't even use that left hand.
And I think Cris Carter makes this type of catch better than any other receiver in the league.
I think you're right on.
That just looks impossible. This guy one-handed, two-handed, over the head, behind the head. He can do it.
Here's a guy that initially was known for that excellent fade pattern. He'd run into the end zone, but now Cris Carter owns the entire field.
Now, Cris Carter has always been the other Carter, but Cris Carter is also becoming one of the premier receivers of the National Football League.
Cris Carter was doing this with mediocre quarterback play. But for a moment, in 1994, that changed.
Man, Warren Moon, first ballot Hall of Famer. Warren Moon is on a whole nother level.
If you're Warren Moon and you come to a new football team, you're happy you have a guy like Cris Carter as your go-to receiver.
Stop. Two-man hit Moon, and the pass is caught. Flag is down. Oh. Cris Carter wound up with the ball with Doug Evans right on top of him.
Or Cris Carter, simply put, he makes highlights ho-hum. This guy can make more of these catches where his arms and hands seem to grow.
Pressure, Moon under pressure, throws, and Carter with those magnificent hands. Cris Carter is having a Hall of Fame type year. I mean, he's just having a fabulous season.
Look at him here, the second best receiver over the past 2 years, and of course last season, the best with the most catches in the league. When you start seeing yourself in the same company with Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp, you know you've arrived.
Warren Moon, I played 2 seasons with Warren Moon, the 95 and the 94 season. I had 244 catches in those 2 seasons, the most back-to-back by any NFL player, and 24 touchdowns. Man, thank God for Warren Moon.
Cris Carter's time in Philadelphia was a distant memory. How could it get better for the All-Pro receiver?
The Minnesota Vikings have selected wide receiver from Marshall University, Randy Moss.
So I told Denny Green, hey, what do you need me to do? He's like, I need you to take care of him. Like, I need you to show him the way. I need to get him off to a good start. After a few workouts, I called Dennis Green and told him that he is the most unbelievable athlete that I have ever seen.
They call me the freak, man.
What's he call you the freak?
Because I'm a freak of nature. You're going to see today, just keep your eyes glued to the TV.
They say that he wanted to play in Dallas.
Man, he really wanted to make Dallas feel the pain of not drafting him.
Throwing it back to Cunningham, the old flea picker, and open is Randy Moss, and in the end zone is a Minnesota touchdown. Here's Cunningham back to throw it and going deep, and he's got Moss, and there's a flag on the play, and Moss has caught the pass, and it's in the end zone anyway. It's Randy Moss breaks a tackle, and Randy Moss races down the sideline, and Randy Moss just outruns everybody into the end zone. I tell you what, you watch these two guys, Cunningham the veteran, and Moss, the rookie. And I don't know how you stop him. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 163 yards.
There are going to be nightmares for quarterbacks in the NFL when they go up against Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is the best young receiver that I have seen, maybe ever. Johnson's down, holding to his left leg or right leg.
Oh, that's serious.
Yeah.
That's serious.
You know, normally when your quarterback's hurt, you're like, man, well, he's going to get back. It's going to be, okay, 5 weeks recovery, then we're going to get him back. But Randall played so well that it was like, man, Brad, you can't come back. Because Randall's really the only guy that can hit the ball to Randy.
Because Randall could really reach him anywhere on the field.
And he's going deep, making the play in the end zone, touchdown.
Look at this. This is perfectly thrown. You can't get better than that.
He's looking. He's throwing for Randy Moss, touchdown.
And what about the throw? Nobody talks about the throw. Only Randall Cunningham is sticking passes in like that.
Randall Cunningham, what a year. I mean, who would have thought? Here was a guy that was a couple of years ago, he retired.
Moss, Cunningham, Carter. The result was the most explosive offense in NFL history.
The highest scoring team ever, breaking the Redskins' mark of 541 points, set in 83. They'll go 15-1, and I guess there's only one thing left for this Minnesota Viking team to achieve.
Today they play Atlanta. How do they start to work against the Falcons?
Well, they just have to keep doing what they've done all year. I mean, this is really their year.
Cunningham again going deep. Out of the end zone. Touchdown. He's in the end zone.
What a player. He tells Randall Cunningham, just chuck it out there, dog. Randall Cunningham throws a perfect pass.
Cunningham crouches under the center. He's going straight ahead and dives into the end zone. Turnovers have played a big part in Minnesota's scoring. Cunningham drops. Moss goes deep. Cunningham lost the ball somehow.
That is the play the Atlanta Falcons needed right now.
Chandler drops. Touchdown, just like that.
There's Tim Dwight there. He fields a punt back there in the goal line. You're not supposed to do that. Then they put him in at quarterback. He gives a little hand fake, but Tim Dwight helped change momentum on that last drive. And to me, it all started with Cris Carter. I mean, he had kind of been in this game the forgotten man. They needed some plays, and he's been there. And since they've gotten him, then they've gotten the offensive momentum back.
And it's time. Touchdown, Matthew Hatchett.
And I don't care what anyone says. You say you can't smell Super Bowl. I'll guarantee you can smell Super Bowl.
Gary Anderson will go down as the first perfect place kicker in NFL history.
And Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years.
So that's a pretty good bet if you say, do you think Gary Anderson will make this field goal? The answer should probably be yes.
39 yards away. And it's not good.
Perfect snap, perfect hold, perfect conditions. It's nothing. There's no external factor. He just misses for the first time in about 2 years for no good reason at all. And fans know, they know when it's over. And I feel like the Metrodome knew right then a 15-1 season is over.
Instead of sealing the game, the Falcons responded, scoring a touchdown that sent the game to overtime.
From 39 yards out. Anderson is good. He knows it. They know it.
Carter wanted to retire, but he couldn't. He still had plenty left to give.
Oh, man. Well, you better hope you can play as long as me.
Yeah, we've been watching Cris Carter for 14 years play this game, and he looks younger, and he looks better, and he looks stronger, and he looks faster than he's ever been.
All he does is make 1,000 if he gets 5 tonight. Cris Carter trying to join Jerry Rice.
the only man ever to do it. 995 coming into the ball game.
Culpepper on first down, great protection underneath, and Cris Carter. Carter at the 5. That will take him to 998. Cris Carter now one catch away from 1,000. And wouldn't it be fitting? We saw Jerry Rice's 1,000th catch, okay? That was a touchdown. Culpepper. Carter, touchdown! What a way to do it!
But things began to turn in 2001.
Minnesota, and they have not had a losing record in a season since 1990.
I think the Vikings offense obviously struggling, and you see Randy Moss and you see Cris Carter and you see the frustration. These guys have been frustrated all season long. And that's the kind of guy Cris Carter is. I mean, he wants to win. That's the stat that he really wants.
So Carter retired. After a brief return in Miami,
Fiedler into the air zone. Touchdown! Cris Carter!
Career touchdown catch number 130.
he hung it up for good.
I think Cris Carter might be the best in the game. I mean, this guy, he catches the bad ball. A bad ball receiver is one of the greatest compliments you can give a wideout. That's a bad ball.
They won't give him gold, but they'll give him bronze. A bust in Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, he's headed that way.
While he came up short of a Super Bowl ring, 8 years after becoming eligible, he earned his bust. He's one of the greatest receivers of all time. But the greatest? Well, that's Jerry Rice. You can find out more about his career in this video here.